Welcome to the Beats and Balance podcast, a space for conversations at the intersection of creativity, healing, and community. Each week, we sit down with artists, healers, and everyday people to explore stories of transformation, resilience, and the ways we use creativity to survive and thrive.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Beats and Balance podcast. I'm here today with Emerlyn from Jersey City. Really excited to dig into their history. Emerlyn, thank you so much for being on the show today. Why don't you tell everybody a little bit about your background, where you come from, and what brought you here today?
Okay. Yes. So my name is Emerlyn, born and raised here in Jersey City. I have two boys, Charles and Chad. So Charles is 9 this year, Chad 7, getting ready to go back to school. So they are not looking forward to that, and neither am I. I currently work for the Department of Recreation here in Jersey City, and I do a lot of community work, and I am a serial entrepreneur. So I have a couple of businesses as well as a foundation that I started in honor of my late husband. It's called the Dr. Charles A. Johnson Jr. Foundation.
Awesome.
So that's me in a nutshell.
Say that one more time.
I said that's me in a nutshell.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, it's so great to have you here. Let's talk a little bit about your entrepreneurship. I know you have like several ventures, Mommies and Mocktails, M's Skin Bar, M's Paint Bar and Design Studio, and 123 Lex Venues and Events. Anything else that I'm missing?
Nope, that's it.
Okay. How are you able to kind of manage all of those different endeavors and then also working like a regular job and also raising kids while being a widow? I like that. It seems like a lot to manage. So let's talk about that.
Yeah, definitely, and it's one thing that I always say to everyone. I have an absolutely amazing village. Village. I feel like if I didn't have my family, my core group of friends, and just being surrounded by positive people, positive energy, I probably wouldn't even be able to do one of any of that stuff. Sometimes the mom's like, I don't know how you do all of this. I'm like, I don't know either, but I get it done. So,
yeah.
I get it done. They're both in soccer. So I get up, take them to school, come to work. So it's just all about one thing that I really, really had to learn and hone in on was time management. It also time management without a doubt. And then just kind of like trying to pace myself, not taking too much on, because initially I was kind of taking too much on, but just kind of like pacing myself and just kind of letting things fall where they may. And then also not being afraid to accept help.
That's a huge one.
And then learning the power of the word no.
That's awesome. That's super huge. I think those two last ones are particularly hard for Black women, asking for help and then also having boundaries with other people, because you end up often, I feel like, in a role where you are the one that's kind of taking care of everything and everybody. And sometimes people forget to check in on the person that's kind of holding everything together. So I think that's pretty amazing that you have such a strong community. I think that's something that's super important. What led you to starting your businesses? Did it start off with one, and then you just like really were having fun and expanded, or did you have like a whole master plan when you started to branch out and do all these things?
So I kind of feel like one thing led to the other and just took on a life of its own. It was just like, all right, I think I like this. Let me parlay this into something. So, but really, I want to say, right before my husband passed, I was in the process of completing this 12-week business intensive with this program or organization called Rising Tide. And so I did that. And then on the heels of me completing, he passed. So I was already in the process because I was just kind of like looking for my thing. Like he had his thing going on and everything. So I was looking for my thing. What is it that I'm passionate about? And I really love to create experiences. And so the business plan was, and the name was Mommies and Mocktails. It was going to be this social events company that would just kind of create different experiences for people. And then I'm like, okay, well, how am I going to fund this company or this brand or what I'm trying to do without having to go to the bank to take out a loan?
Mm-hmm.
And then, so that's when I started to make body butters and just exploring that.
Mm-hmm.
I like this. And so that's how that began. And then just, I started making sales and it just really began to take on a life of its own. And so I'm like, okay, well, I need to differentiate the body butter from the Mommies and Mocktails brand, because I found that even with the body butters, people would say, okay, well, this is for mommies and I'm good for the whole family. So from the Mommies and Mocktails came the M's Skin Bar.
Got you.
And then even from there, then the branching out to now the Paint Bar and Design Studio. So it's like these two subsidiaries to the overarching Mommies and Mocktails brand. And so just kind of going back to the root of it all, now creating workshops under the Mommies and Mocktails brand. And one of them that I currently do with in conjunction with the M Skin Bar is a whip and sip event.
Oh, cool.
So with the whip and sip is where you just allow the guests come in and they get a chance to craft their own body butters.
Oh, very cool.
Right. And so all of the body butters that I do make, they're named after after drinks, if you will. Hence it being M Skin Bar.
Got you.
So,
Got you. I love the creativity. I'm always like super, I feel like every Black woman I talk to has like their regular job, which is like usually something that is impressive, but then they also have like 10 side hustles.
Yeah.
And I'm always like, I don't know. It's not just like the entrepreneurship, but the level of creativity of coming up with all these different brands that kind of intersect with each other. I think that's super dope. But what also I think is really crazy is like doing all of that in the midst of dealing with like deep grief.
Yeah.
My wife passed this past November.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
And yeah, and like just thinking about like it's taking me until now to feel like I can function again. You know what I mean? Like I don't know that people really understand the level of grief that comes with losing somebody that's that close to you. It like messes up your brain. Like like you literally, like I literally have been in a state of like brain fog. So it's not even just like the sadness and like, you know, the depression, but it's like your brain actually is not functioning correctly.
Mm-hmm.
So for you to be able to like deal with all of that while also having, like, I don't have any kids, so I can't even imagine what that would be like on top of that loss, and then having to explain that to kids and manage their emotions and be there for them while also dealing with your own emotions. I honestly can't imagine, because I'm still not even straight. Like,
Yeah.
So how was your process with dealing with the grief and burnout, and what was the thing that like kept you going and like kept your eyes kind of on the prize?
So when he passed, they were 8 months old and 2.5.
Wow.
And so I just remember when I got the news that he had passed, I immediately ran to them because I got this information at like 3 a.m. in the morning, because he wasn't stateside. He was like all the way in Liberia, West Africa when he passed.
Wow.
So during the wintertime, they're 5 hours ahead of us. So by the time the information got to me, it's like 3 o'clock in the morning. So all I could do was just run to the room and grab them and hold them, because in that moment, all I could do was think about was them and everything that they were going to miss out on now that their dad wasn't around anymore. Because it's like, now it's just me and the two of you. I think I probably ended up throwing myself into a lot initially as an escape. And I didn't go to therapy until about 2 winters ago. I started therapy. I was like, okay, it's time. But his passing, his death, that whole thing is still surreal to me. And even when he passed initially, I didn't even have time to fully process or grieve, because it was like literally that week when I got the call, okay, he had a stroke. And those 4 days, I swear, like every time I look back, I'm like, okay, it was only a period of 4 days when I was trying to reach out to his health insurance company here to send a medevac to get him out of the country because he was in a third world country. And so their medical system could do nothing for him.
Yeah.
And by the time they did approve the medevac to go and get him, when they called me to say, hey, everyone is rested, the helicopter is all gassed up, we're ready to go, I'm like, it's too late. He just passed.
Yeah.
And so it went from me trying to save his life to now, okay, well, we have to plan a funeral. I have to get his body back.
Yeah.
Because my kids, they need somewhere to go to say, this is my dad, this is where my dad is laying. Somewhere to go and to talk to him, you know, whatever. In my mind, I'm just like, whatever they're going to need, because in the physical, he's no longer here. And all of that in the planning, and he passed on January 12th. His funeral wasn't until February 8th.
Mm.
So you're talking about a month span of having to go through planning, trying to give time for family to come. And even in then, no time to process.
Yeah.
And I thought that me going to the funeral home and seeing his body, it would make it real. It's been 6 years.
Mm-hmm.
I've gone to the grave site several times. Like, I'll go on days by myself. No one knows this. I'll just go just to talk and cry it out, because I never want my kids to just randomly see me crying, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And so the grief never ends. It doesn't matter, you know, when or how you move on, you begin to date. But that whole experience was so traumatic.
Yeah.
So yeah, there are nights where I'm just like laying there, I'm like, this can't be for real. Like, he's really not here. And so I give myself room to grieve, to cry. You know, I'm like, okay, I don't need someone's shoulder. I'm just gonna like just cry it out, get over it, shake it off, to shift into the next day. So many people, his friends, I remember I was talking to a friend of his at a wedding last week, and he was like, you're so strong. I don't know how you're doing it. And I'm like, I don't have a choice.
Yeah.
We have 2 kids. And so I had to make a decision. You know, do I sit in everything and they end up losing 2 parents, or I step up and be present for them?
Mm-hmm.
And just be prepared to answer questions as they get older. Because now that they're older, especially the little one who has no recollection of him, he's starting to ask questions.
Yeah.
You know? And so I think it's been a little bit easy. And I hate to say it like this, but it's been the fact that they were so young when he passed, it kind of made it a little bit easier to navigate that with them. But I do know the way in which they're processing it is completely different, because the older one had 2.5 years with him.
Yeah.
You know, getting to sleep in a bed with him, and you know, his dad walking him to the store. You know, I have all these videos and pictures of them together, because for whatever reason, I would record every little thing, or would take random pictures of maybe them holding hands crossing the street. But unfortunately, for the little one, I don't have any pictures. 2 of them.
Yeah.
So it just, all those little things, like, it just really, really, it sucks, right?
Yeah.
You know, so I just do my best to make sure that as I'm chasing dreams, chasing goals, that I'm still able to show up for them and have them be able to experience, you know, life almost as if he was here. Like, there's nothing lacking.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I would say definitely that's like the motivation for me, is to just providing for them in a way that, okay, if he was here, this would still be on par.
Yeah. No, I feel that. Everything you said is super deep. Because also, like, you're being constantly re-triggered, right? Like, every time your kids have a question, it's not just like, oh, I have a question. It's like, then you got to relive the whole thing and all the memories and all those things. And
right.
For me, what I realized, one of the most difficult things with grief is, it's not even about missing the person so much. It's about like having to mourn, like you said, like all the things that aren't going to happen that you had kind of envisioned in your mind for your future.
Mm-hmm.
Because like for me, like the presence, like I feel my wife's presence, you know what I mean? I don't know how to describe it, but like her energy, I feel her with me.
Mm-hmm.
in a way that I wasn't expecting. So it's like when I think about missing her, sometimes I'm just like you said, like the time feels weird. Like it's like sometimes it feels like it's been no time since she's passed. And sometimes it feels like she's still here and I'm waiting for her to come out of the bathroom. But when I think about like the future and like the fact that we can't do, we were gonna get a house together and like have all these dogs and like do like all of those kind of little things, it's like that's what like really hits you. But then, like you said, like it's really easy to distract yourself and stay busy and keep going.
Yep.
But not allowing yourself to mourn like leaves you to having that situation where you're just like kind of blowing up and everything's going sideways.
Yeah.
Which, for you, I think that's really impressive that you're able to manage both so that you're not like taking that out on your kids. Like for me, I have these 2 dogs and I noticed like for a while I was like snapping at the dogs and I was like, hold up, like why am I? But then I realized like I have all this like misplaced anger and I'm like, oh, I don't want to treat my dogs like that. I can't imagine if I had kids, man, like I can't imagine, you know what I mean? Like a dog is one thing, but actual like human beings that you got to really like sit there and be present for like that, I can't imagine. So I give you like all of like the praise and kudos because I really deeply understand. Like I don't fully understand, but I understand enough to know how extremely difficult that must be.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and it's crazy that you're still able to keep it pushing and do all these things. So let's talk about balancing your other side of your life because you also do the work with the rec center. And you also have done AmeriCorps. So how did you get into like doing like the youth development and what made you stay doing that in addition to running your businesses?
So definitely I would say AmeriCorps, I did that when I was in undergrad.
Mm-hmm. Which program was it? Teach for America? Or?
No. It was AmeriCorps. My mom happened to find my mom found information about the rape crisis center that was here in Jersey City.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, I think this would be a great, experience. Go and look into that because, they were looking for rape care advocates. I think I might have been like 19, 20 at the time, like 19 at the time when she found that. So I was like, okay. So when I did it, heavy stuff, very, very, very heavy stuff.
Yeah.
But while doing it, that they introduced me to AmeriCorps because prior to that, I'd never heard of it.
Mm-hmm.
So we were able to sign up for AmeriCorps and fulfill my service time and hours working at the Rape Crisis Center. So now I became a rape care, sexual assault prevention educator. So I was doing this. So just kind of like going out into the high schools and, some of the grammar schools and having a conversation on sexual assault prevention, understanding, what's safe touch and that. And so I kind of like, doing it. I was like, okay, I kind of like this. This is pretty cool. And I guess maybe through doing all of that, I just really started to see how much I enjoyed, I guess, service. Just being in service to others. And then, of course, me having getting a double majoring in criminal justice and sociology, and just fully learning and understanding human behavior and the way people process things. And I think also too, I possess a lot of empathy. I'm just extremely empathetic. So whereas people would be like, "Oh man, you just need to forget that person" or whatever, like I really be trying to understand why someone would make the decision that they made or choose to handle a situation and the way in which that they did. But just kind of like going through that. And then after graduation, I went into New York City working in child welfare. And I did that for quite a bit. And then, but again, heavy stuff. And I'm like, now I'm having kids of my own and you're taking on the secondhand trauma.
Yeah.
So I ended up coming back and actually working for Jersey City. Initially, I was working in the working with Health and Human Services and doing this program called the Summer Food Service Program. And the person that was overseeing it at the time, she transferred from that department and she brought the program over to recreation.
Okay.
And that's essentially how I ended up here at recreation. And of course, naturally I never left.
Yeah.
Just being able, God has a way of just doing things and aligning things, because me coming back here and working and transitioning into the role full time after becoming pregnant with my second child, things just began to fall into place where I was then able to remain here in the department, but also too staying local, being able to have access to my kids easily versus me still working in New York, because literally right after I transition here, months go by, talking about 6 months later, he passes.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like things just began to align and fall into place there. And then just, while being here in the department, and even though there were changes and stuff, one thing I always, not to ramble on, but one thing I always said to myself was, wherever you are, wherever you land, your goal is to be an asset, not a liability. And so I had a particular role at the time, and I'm like, okay, I'm obviously not functioning in this role. Of course, it would be great to come to work, collect a check, go home. But if I'm going to come to work, I want to actually work and spend my 8 hours doing something that I know I'm going to enjoy.
Yeah.
And so that's when, the person that used to run the summer camp decided they no longer wanted to do it, I stepped up. I said, hey, I'll take on that role. And if I do great, then we can discuss a title change and the possibility of a raise. So it's been 4 years now since I've run summer camp.
Cool.
And I got a title change, and I'm like, okay, great. With this title, I could get to do even more. So let's go on ahead and start creating, different programming outside of, recreational activities. I'm like, especially since our name is Department of Recreation and Youth Development. So I shifted my focus to trying to develop programming that is centered around, youth development. So I guess the whole child, if you will. And so I'm just really passionate about that, just kind of like being in a position of guidance of the youth.
Yeah. Yeah. It's wild because it's like you have, and I don't know if this is intentional or not, but you've created kind of this ecosystem where you're taking care of both the kid and the mother. In the midst of like the grief that you went through, I don't think that's like not a coincidence. You know what I mean? It's kind of like I feel like people end up doing what they need for themselves, especially when you're empathetic and you've gone through something. That's how this whole thing started, was just like from a place of like deep loss and just like, all right, like how can I like create connection and do something positive with all of this like energy that I have, instead of it going towards depression, like let it go towards something that will be uplifting. And for you, it seems like it's like, I'm just like amazed at like the parallels. Like you spend your day like working with these kids, and then you're like, all right, like what can I do for the moms and make that? And it's just like to be able to be thinking about that while also going through everything that you've gone through is amazing to me. Is it like your businesses? Is it like you have one like storefront location and then you have like the different programs out of the same spot? Okay, so it's like kind of like you're doing programming like
right,
like double time. That's dope. Very cool.
So, and I'm just excited, just it's like, my mantra is my destiny is my purpose and my past is my reference. And so it's like everything that we experience in our past, they're just all stepping stones. These are points of references, to propel you into your next. So yeah.
Yeah, I love that. And also being like, I grew up in Jersey with a single mom, and so I know the importance of those summer camps, and I'm happy to hear that they even still exist, because I was one of those kids, in the Essex County Rec Soccer League. My heart is all warm. I'm like, oh, like this is dope. All right, so looking ahead, what are some dreams that you're excited about? Is there anything that you're building next? Is it about just like maintaining what you have, or is there something else that you kind of have your eye on? Any other big goals?
Well, you know what? I just put together, I wouldn't say I just put it together, but it's coming together now with a potential, well, not a potential, because I said I'm setting strict timeline for myself, for it to launch come November. But I'm starting a program here out of the department called Level Up. And so the goal right now is to liaise with other community partners, just build a database of community partners, build a database of mentors, and then providing any of our host sites with a toolkit to be able to carry out this program. And so I came across this platform called Level All on LinkedIn. And so Level All, they provide this service to municipalities for free. And so, we began conversations, and I'm like, okay, well, I want us to be able to deliver this content, but I think it would make sense to build a program around it. So I've finally packaged it, put it all together, built the program. I'm so excited about it. And so essentially the goal is to bring all these mentors in, vet them, of course, pair them with the different youth that'll come through this 12-week cohort program. And the goal is to help them on their journey as they begin their collegiate, preparation for either going the college route, the collegiate route, or perhaps maybe going the vocational route. So just kind of help them hone in on or pull out, well, what are my goals? What is something that I want to do? And then just helping them begin to chart that and to make a plan, have a life plan. And so the focus of this program, or at least the target group, is age 13 to 18. And what I find that is with our department, we service mainly the youth, the little ones, ranging in age from about 3, 4 up until about 13, 14. And it's almost like they kind of age out of our programming. So I want to create something where the department is now offering something more to this age group that we seem to kind of lose a grapple of.
Yeah.
My prayer and hopes is that I can get as many community partners, people with locations, to buy into what it is that I'm trying to do, so we target as many youth as possible. So it's in the pilot phase.
Cool.
So I'm really excited about that, and I know it could do absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
And so I'm, again, not being afraid to ask for help. I'm like, hey, however you want to help, whether it's providing resources, whether it's providing a location, or maybe you being a host, and having the youth being able to come into your location. So the goal is to have sites, even if it's one in each of our 6 wards. It's in their neighborhood. They can get there and be able to sit down and meet one week doing the, for 90 minutes. They'll meet, complete their tasks on the computer, but that mentor is with them throughout the process. Just checking in. They would have the ability to go in and to see what tasks they've completed. And if not, just kind of stay on them and just meeting with them and talking with them. And then just, I want to be able to put together I just had a meeting with the library today, but to be able to liaise with them and put together this like really large job fair, where then meet people from all these different industries that they may be interested in. So whether it's the cosmetology industry, the vocational, so plumbing, electricians, all of that, right? And then of course your blue collar workers. That ultimately is the goal. So I'm super excited about that. And then of course, I still have my own personal business, and just looking for that to kind of like begin to coast and take on a life of its own as well.
Yeah, very dope. I think it's super important. Like you said, that age range, I think, is often left out. It's like as soon as you're like 13, 14, they stop looking at you as a child. An 18-year-old is still a kid.
Yeah.
And so you're like a 25-year-old is still a kid, in my opinion. But like if yeah, I think that like an initiative like that, getting the kids off the street, doing something constructive.
Right.
Because they want to be doing stuff. People don't realize, like, if I had something to do at that age, I would have been doing it.
Yeah.
But they don't. There's literally not many programs that are available. So that's really cool. Definitely, we're down to support y'all any way that you need. We're based Beats and Balance, and we're in Philly, so we're not that far. But if you need a DJ, you want to throw a party for the kids, anything like that, DJ lessons, I got you.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, 100% down to support. All right, so we're wrapping up our session here. Is there anything that you want to plug? Tell the people how they can find you, your Instagram or website?
Yes, absolutely. So can definitely find me on Instagram. My main page is I Am the Creative. So that's I_MEM_ the creative. So that's my IG. And of course, you can find me on IG under M's Paint Bar. Other IG page, M Skin Bar.
One for all of them. All right.
But
we'll have those all. Go ahead.
Right. Even if you just go to my main one, you'll find my LinkedIn. You'll find all of the websites and everything.
Very dope. Yeah, we'll have everything also listed down in the comment section. But just so the people that don't read, that are just listening in, definitely make your way to Jersey City if you're not there already, and check out all of these very cool events and activities that Emerlyn is putting on. And thank you so much for being here with us today. I really appreciate you coming through and sharing a lot of really deep and personal things. But I think it's important because I think there's a lot of people that kind of go through these things in silence and by themselves. And I think it's good for folks to hear that, like, you're not alone, and we're all kind of going through all these similar things together. So I really appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you. And for everybody listening, thank you for tuning in. We'll be back next Thursday. I appreciate y'all, and everybody have a great night or day or morning or whatever's going on.
Yeah.
Our vibes stay sacred, our roots run deep.